Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I'm your host, the incredible Sulk. How are you guys doing today? Is everyone doing good? Fantastic? No, honestly, I want to know. Is everyone doing okay? Is doing fine? Did some sort of Epstein list get released today? I was not on X. I was busy. I've been busy all day long. And I'm tired from being busy. But that's okay. I'm okay. You guys are okay. Everyone's okay. We're all here. For the most part. For the most part. I think. I imagine. Anyways, we're doing stuff. We're doing stuff. Can I just leave it at that? Can I just say we're doing stuff tonight? Alright? No one cares. Blah, blah. And then everyone be satisfied with that? Does that matter? Nah, that's not how I want to do it. I phoned it in enough. I phoned it in enough. Phone it in enough. I can't even enunciate properly. Tonight we're doing Afterlife, which is various belief on what comes after death. Is it a place we'll reach? Is it a place we're in? Will we ever reach it? Or are we just stuck in this reality that we create ourselves? I don't know. And I just don't fucking know. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of AI stuff and about like AI and how we're going to hit a singularity or at least general intelligence in this year. We probably have it now, but by next year and the year after that, it's going to be super intelligent and it'll be like folding proteins. And then everyone's going to live essentially forever or indefinitely. Not forever. You can't live forever. You just can't. You have to die to be alive in the first place. That is a fact. If you can't die, then you're not alive. I think that goes... Does that go without saying? I think it makes sense. Anyways, we're gonna listen to a bunch of people's belief in the afterlife. And I thought it was interesting. It's a little cartoonish. But you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. So get ready. And comfy and cozy and crawl into your casket and or hop into the oven or some sort of mushroom spore tree thing or launched into orbit so you return your body as like a shooting star. Whatever weird thing you want to have happen to you after you're dead. I'm just talking about you corporally and not in a spiritual sense, but something's got to happen to your body. You want to dumped in the middle of the ocean and eaten by sharks? I'd be there for that. I'd go to that funeral. I don't know why everyone's doing destination weddings when we should do destination funerals. The only people who actually gave a shit about me would show up. Right? Hey, guess what? My funeral's on an oil rig, and then you're gonna dump me off the side into, like, a school of Hammerheart. They're gonna be shark-themed. I can't decide. I haven't decided. I'm gonna blow my entire budget on renting out an oil rig. So... Or maybe I should just slingshot myself into a brick wall. That'd be a better way to die, though. I mean, if I was already dead and I slingshot my body into a brick wall just as fast as I could, it'd be something to watch. But it's not as dramatic as if I were still alive and then going out like Wile E. Coyote. You know, I hold up a sign that says, "Yikes." And then I just pull the lever. Just launch myself into the wall, you know? I don't know. I have time to think about it. Or do I? You know, maybe I should start planning it now. Planning my funeral now. Yeah. I'm, I'll think about stuff. I'll brainstorm, and you guys are invited, and I'm sure some of you will show up. But maybe not, because you guys don't know my name. It's out there. It is out there. But don't try to look for it. It's a secret, I guess. I don't know. It's not that much, not that big of a secret. Anyways, guys, get a bottle of something nice. Get a friend. Get a cohort. A voyeur. If you're working, why? Unless you're trying to achieve something that you want and not just working for a paycheck. Keep working. If you're driving, get to wherever you're going safely. And wear your seatbelt. Don't be an idiot. Wear your seatbelt. Anyways, let's jump right on in. I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream. And this is called... What is this called? I have no idea. The most disturbing afterlife theories iceberg explained. So it's an iceberg video. So everybody enjoys iceberg videos. Let's rock and roll.
Battery. When the battery dies, your body powers...
Oh, sorry.
Tier 1. Jehovah's Witnesses.
Fun. So, okay. So, I know we only got a second into this, but it was a very weird childhood I had. It was very cold. But I don't do that anymore. Now we have Christmas and stuff, and you know, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness by any stretch of the imagination. I think they're more of a cult than we are. And I actively try to be a cult, but they're strange. They're very strange. I have to preface this before we jump on in because I don't know everything about them. I haven't gone. It's the Kingdom Hall, right? I haven't gone in 30 years or something like that. So it's been a long time. But let's just listen what their afterlife is.
Have you ever wondered what happens to your soul when your heart stops beating, your brain shuts down, and your body goes cold? Well, for Jehovah's Witnesses, the answer is pretty simple. Your soul...
A massive erection. Oh, they're talking about my body. When I go... Well, I get a massive erection. I would get a massive erection. Holy shit. Oh my God. You guys don't even see this. Jess's, like, half of her shirt is just soaked in milk. Just soaked. It's just soaked in breast milk. Like, wow. You need to deal with that.
It's cold.
It is. How is it cold? It came out of your boob.
Well, no, because it's been sitting there now. I have to change my shirt.
Well, I mean, you gotta
It's not
go.
incredible.
Is that cool?
It's not. Well, it is cool, but isn't it incredible?
It's just one.
Yeah, because he was on this one.
Oh, so you sucked one dry?
Yeah, I switched.
Oh, okay.
Too late.
You're like a dairy cow.
I'm like a human.
A human cow.
No. Oh God.
Sorry, it's just my cow of a wife. Sorry, everybody. Anyways, back to my raging erection. Now there's this dead person, and then I just can't help myself, and I chew on them, and then what do you think?
Strawberry gets it.
Been there?
Not about your.
She gets horny around dead people too. Oh, the strawberry? What?
Milk, honey.
I'm not thirsty. I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. I'm surrounded by retards, I swear.
soul goes poof. It doesn't float off to heaven, hell, or some weird astral plane. It just stops working. Jehovah's Witnesses don't see the soul as some mystical, ghostly version of you.
Strawberry says breastfeeding life is crazy. Yeah, it's a phase, dude. It's a phase. How long did our last one? Well, he was like 3 years.
3.5.
3.5. So you were about to have our second.
I was still nursing.
And you were still nursing our first. So.
And I nursed him for like 4 more months.
Yeah, all she does is she just makes boob milk. and she's starving all the time, you know? I don't get any milk. I don't get any milk, right? You were going to make me a latte one day because we were out of cow's milk. And you were going to make it out of breast milk, and I did not say no. She's like, you want me to make it out of breast milk? I was like,
I have some in the freezer. I can leave try.
why off the freezer? Give me the fresh off the tap. I'll suck and spit like a cobra bite. Into my coffee. I need my coffee. That's the only way I don't know. I don't even think I can poop without coffee. Is that too much? Is that too much information? No, that's a normal bodily function. I didn't poop until I had coffee at like 26.
I was gonna say, you can poop without coffee. You just choose not to.
I choose not to. It's just, it's not as satisfying.
Okay, enough bodily functions with your erection and my breast milk and the poop.
No. No to all that. No to all that. I'll talk about what I want on my show. Okay, this is my show.
There's a good question.
Well, okay, what's the good question? Does human milk taste the same as milk from other cows? No, it doesn't. It's much sweeter, actually. It's very sweet. I describe it as like, have you ever had Fruity Pebbles, like the cereal? You drink the milk, that's what it tastes like. Not like the cocoa, but like the normal Fruity Pebbles. It's very sweet. It's like,
We talk about my breast milk too much on your stream.
well, you're always bringing it up.
Hey, Brandon.
You're coming in here soaked to the tea, like all the way down.
Teat, honey, teat.
The teat.
I know.
And it's all the way down. It's complete. Her shirt is completely soaked in breast milk, and she's just like shuffles in here, and her hair's all messed up and stuff. She's like, what do you want? I want to make my comment. I'm like, okay, honey, go ahead, please, tell us.
I already said it.
I would tie you up and then just like milk you though.
No, you gotta put me in one of those goats things and feed me snacks, and I'll stay still. And then I just nom nom nom, and then you're like.
No.
That's what they do.
No, I'm not gonna goat you. I'm not gonna goat you. I might. I don't know. We'll see. What the hell? Oh, right, the afterlife. Erections and the dead. It makes me so hot. Right? Like when you die, honey, you're not gonna stay cold for long. Not when I'm around. Anyway.
To them, it's more like a life force, kind of like a phone battery. When the battery dies, your body powers down, and that's it. They argue that the
Onia says, John has sold me on breast milk. Try it. Try it. Try it. Honestly, it's not bad. It tastes pretty good. I would drink it if it wasn't like already called, like it's already spoken for. And my kid is fat too. He's like getting so fat. I'm like, dude, you're mooch. You're a mooch. You just sit there and you cry and then you beg for it. And he eats normal food too. He's like 8 months old. He's got teeth. He eats steak, like a lot of steak. I'm like, I didn't know babies could eat so much steak. He eats a lot of steak. He's a sturdy baby. But yeah, he just all of it. I'm like, man, pass that shit.
the idea of an immortal soul is based on ancient Greek philosophy, not the teachings of Jesus or the Bible. So when you die, there's no eternity for your soul, just a hard stop. And speaking of hard,
So wait, hold on. Jesus did talk about heaven though, right? He did say there was like the gates of heaven and there's like an afterlife. He did talk about that. Am I mistaken? The Jehovah's Witness. See, I don't know everything about the Jehovah's Witnesses. I was pretty young and it was kind of like, I don't know, more my father's mother's thing. But she died fairly young. But it doesn't matter. I didn't follow all that well. I didn't follow it all that well. So they don't believe you have a soul or nothing like that. You're just a carcass. And I'm just a I am my body. Okay. That's an opinion.
hard stops, let's talk about hell for a second. Jehovah's Witnesses teach us that hell isn't a fiery pit filled with pitchfork-wielding demons. It's just nothingness. According to their teachings, the Sheol, or Hades, mentioned in the Bible is basically a universal graveyard for the dead. What's crazy is, even the good people end up here. Your grandma who always baked cookies for the neighborhood kids, she's there too. Lucky for you,
Oh yeah.
there's a way out. A resurrection
Yeah, we all know what was in those cookies. Viagra. And it was weird. She was a weird lady.
for the righteous. The Jehovah's Witnesses
Like, why are you giving all the neighborhood kids Viagra? And she's all like, I just like the world, watch the world burn. And I'm like, you're going to hell, Grandma.
says death is like being saved
I said that every time I saw her. I'm like, you're going to hell, old lady. She'd be like, come here.
to a supernatural USB drive, ready to be re-uploaded
She's
later.
dead now.
Lucky ones who lived righteous lives are resurrected to live forever. But for the non-believers and the unrepentant, death isn't just a layover.
Onias, if you're looking for breast milk, you can go on Facebook groups, like Facebook mom groups, and I'm fucking not even kidding you here. You can buy it off. You can buy it off chicks. You can buy it, right? Because bodybuilders do that. Bodybuilders buy human breast milk because a lot of them swear by it, and they drink human breast milk and stuff, and it's weird. It's weird. That's a weird thing, right? But again, it doesn't taste bad. It's weird that you like hit somebody up on Facebook, and then they bring you breast milk, and then you gobble that shit down before, like a pre-workout. I haven't tried that. Because somebody keeps taking all the breast milk in the house. Somebody has to share, Jess. You know?
over before eternal torment. It's the end, literally. Now, let's talk about how resurrection works, or the people who do get resurrected. It happens in two phases.
Onia says, I lived at the Jehovah's Witness house for a few months when I was homeless at a shelter. Their beliefs are crazy, but I've never met a mean Jehovah's Witness, though. Mean? No, not necessarily. Not mean. Just weird. Just a weird set of beliefs that they hold fervently, dude. And the entire organization is very, it's very hierarchical. And everything that the elders want you to do, you do. Or you get, what's it called? Like, it's like excommunicated, shunned. I forget the actual term for it. But you get excommunicated, and it can happen pretty easily. And then you're not allowed to speak to your friends or family ever again. So it's essentially a death sentence. If your entire social circle is inside the Jehovah's Witness, you don't want to go up against the elders in any capacity, because they can, and they will, like, if you get shunned, you will be shunned. You will, like, your father, your mother, your aunts and your uncles and stuff like that. I mean, my family wasn't like that, but I've known families that were like that. If you get shunned, you're fucking shunned, dude. you're like good and shunned. Yeah, dude, it's pretty harsh. They maintain a lot of control. They're a pretty sexist organization, but I can't blame them for that, because I understand women too. No, there is a group of elders who are exclusively men that control chapters. There's usually about 3 or 4 of them. And, yeah, they if they want you to have a certain job, you have that job. If they want you to marry a certain girl, you marry that girl. And it's all very structured. And I'm not really knocking that. I'm just saying, I mean, it's a religion, right? It's a religion, and they have their religious beliefs and stuff like that. It's just, it obviously wasn't for me. But we got some that live across the street, and they're perfectly nice. A little weird, but perfectly nice. But, I have heard horror stories about sexual misconduct. And yeah, that kind of goes without saying. Of course that goes without saying. I mean, sexual misconduct is very common in the world today. I mean, America, especially. I can't speak for outside of America, but in any sort of organization like religion or the public education system is rife with sexual misconduct. I mean, like 30,000 times more cases of sexual misconduct than in the Catholic Church. It's insane, but you don't hear about that because they're tied very deeply with the Democratic Party. So, you know, you don't know, you shouldn't always trust what you hear on the news. Obviously, I say that all the time. But they're weird. They're weird people. But they don't go to hell. That's concerning, I guess.
First, there's the Anointed, an elite group of 144,000 disciples of Jesus who've already started their journey to heaven to rule alongside him. Jehovah's
Yeah, so the 144,000 is the Anointed, and that's who goes to heaven. Right, so there is a heaven in the mythos of Jehovah's Witnesses, but only 144,000 get to go there. And apparently it's like an administrative role. I don't know why you would want to be a part of that, but apparently it's pretty much filled up. Like so you're not going to go to heaven because but you will go to paradise if you're a good Jehovah's Witness, Jehomeless. Yeah, you go to paradise, and he states what they say in there, though.
Witnesses believe that Jesus returned invisibly in 1914.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
that this first resurrection is already underway.
Sweet.
Next, we have the great cloud of witnesses.
Okay. Let's see what the bell has for us. Social Observer for $10 says pretty much all religions are cults if you think about it. I know. Well, I think a cult has to have a certain size. It has to do with size, I'm sure, because like what is considered a cult? Oh, they have crazy kooky beliefs, so all of them? It has to be a size thing. Like I think it's like, I mean, Christians aren't considered cults, Muslims aren't, Jews aren't, Hindus, those kind of things aren't considered cults. But why? I mean, Hindus worship cows and stuff. Why isn't that considered a cult? I don't know. It must have to do with the size of it. That's the only reason I could think of. So yeah, maybe they're just all cults. Are we a cult? Well, our beliefs aren't kooky. I think ours are pretty down to earth, and it's sex based. And we drink titty milk. At every service, we're going to drink titty milk, right? It's going to be like our past, like the Passover, where they drink, what is that called? Communion? Something like that. We're going to drink titty milk and then do mushrooms, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be a party. That's what I know. It'll be a party.
This group includes pretty much everyone who isn't part of the Anointed, except, of course, the non-believers and unrepentant. All who are part of the Great Cloud will be resurrected to live on a paradise-like version of Earth where there's no sickness, no death, and no pain. So, to sum it all up, Jehovah's Witnesses believe that death is like falling into the deepest sleep imaginable. No dreams, no awareness, nothing. And whether you...
That don't sound too bad. That doesn't sound too bad. Right? I mean, people, a lot of people believe in hell, and I kind of do too. But like just going to sleep and then just being rested and then just resting, that sounds nice. I know this sounds suicidal. I'm not suicidal, but holy shit, I'm tired. I'm tired of it all. Not just on a physical basis, but just like, I've had it. I've fucking had it. But here I am trudging away day after day, and they can't take me down. They can't knock me out. So just nothing, huh? Just absolutely nothing. Just pure nothing.
you wake up or not is dependent
Okay.
on what you believed in and the way you lived your life. Islam. So you've lived your
Islam.
life, made decisions, some good, some questionable, and now it's lights out.
You're an
Islam.
Oh, there we go. The bell again. And Social Observer with $10 again says cult is the root word from culture. All religions promote a certain culture and tend to shun open thinking that goes against their culture. So that would mean it doesn't even have to be a religion at all. It just could be a counterculture. So you're saying like the hippie movement was a cult. Okay, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
The afterlife is a full-on process. Here's what you need to know. When the time comes, you will meet...
Crispy13 says, I'm going to open a breast milk boba shop. Booba tea? I will get there and I will suck those little yogurt balls down. And I'll be like, do you have different types? Do you sell by race? Because I wonder if different races have different flavored milks. And I'm not being like, oh, do black women have chocolate milk? No, because that's retarded. But maybe it's a little bit greasier. Or maybe Asians is just a little bit, I don't know. They don't drink dairy very much. So maybe it's just very thin. Like it's a very thin liquid. This is an honest question. I really want to know.
Azrael, the angel of death. He's like the ultimate HR rep for souls, sent by Allah, SWT, to clock you out of worldly life. 1 minute, you're sipping tea or doom scrolling, and the next, your soul is on its way out. Azrael's visit would mark the end of your earthly life, which Muslims call dunya. Now it's time for
You done yet?
some post-death
Sorry.
rituals. Your family swings into action, starting with a full-body purification ritual. Then comes the funeral prayer.
Do they have sex with your body? I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. Of course they have sex with your body. Or no, they don't. Maybe if you were a goat.
And finally, lower you 6 feet under, alone.
Maybe.
No phones, no snacks, just you, the dirt, and
No phones, dude. Imagine somebody being buried with their phone. That seems like such a black thing to do. Right? Like, you know, Shaniqua dies in some like crossfire or something like that. Or G Baby, you know, in his tiny coffin gets laid to rest. And he's got his iPhone. Right? But, you know, he's got T-Mobile. And so he still gets service down there. And so you get like a text message or like a missed call from G Baby, but he's been dead for 6 months. And you're like, what? And then it just haunts you for the rest of your life. Yeah, I'm not burying anybody with their phone. No. But I would like to be buried with my phone. Just in case. You know how they used to bury people prematurely? You know, because they were like, yeah, I'm like 90% sure he's dead. And they're like, that's good enough for us. Let's bury his ass. And they used to have like a bell, right? That would go down into the coffin just in case, right? Because they didn't want to wait a day or two just to make sure he started to decompose a little bit. No, they're all like, let's get him in while he's fresh. Let's make sure. You're sure he's dead, right? I am like so kind of positive, right? I'm an 18th century doctor, so, you know, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I'm like pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, but I got stuff to do. And he's probably hammered drunk too. Everybody was hammered drunk. Don't judge him. During the 1800s, everybody was hammered drunk. All the time. Look that up. Look how much alcohol they drank. All the time. So yeah, they're going to bury a few living people. So if, you know, just in case, I would like my phone charged and buried with me. Jessica?
Nah.
She says no. Why?
I'm gonna do the thing where I put you out on the lake and then I shoot the bow and arrow.
Like a Viking funeral.
I thought that's what you wanted, and it sounds epic, so I'm doing it.
It sounds epic. I don't know. We were discussing an entire slingshot thing and like or going to an oil rig and then dumping me into the Atlantic in shark infested waters.
Oh, I know what I could do. I could like Weekend at Bernie's you, but like do the Sulk stream. And
Okay, we can try it now like that.
okay, hold on.
Okay, everybody. All right. I'm Bernie.
Hold on.
Where? I need sunglasses. Go get my sunglasses, wench. If we're going to do a bit, we're going to do it right, okay? Over my dead body. I wish I had a rim shot type of a deal. But we don't have any production value here. Except for what? Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. Now just imagine I'm dead. Okay. Imagine I'm dead. Okay, and I'm... Okay. All right.
I'm your cult leader. Look at my muscles. Look at them. Look at them. Look at my muscles. Ooh, the Jews.
Okay, get out. Get out. I told you not to say that. I told you. How often do I say don't say that out loud? God damn. Blowing up my spot. Jesus Christ, honey. Anyways, that was Weekend at Bernie's 4 Judgment Day. Thank you. And for Jess too. Our master puppeteer. I think she got breast milk on me. Anyways, back to serious time.
2 big scary angels on their way. When the angels Munkar and Nakir arrive, the first thing you will realize is that they didn't drop by to make small talk. They've got 3 critical questions for you. Who is your Lord? Who is your prophet? And what is your faith? Answer confidently and you get to chill in peace until Judgment Day. Fail the test and, well, your grave will suddenly become more like a medieval...
Thought says you better not fuck that up, Sulk. What, just like the Viking funeral thing that she's going to do for me? It's not going to be like that, though. She's going to douse me in gasoline and just send me adrift on the ocean.
Well, I gotta put some Florida stank on it.
It's very Florida.
Yeah.
Right. It's just going to be me soaked in diesel. And then, yeah.
torture dungeon, then a resting place. Just like that, you've entered Barzakh, the limbo-like stage between worlds. If you lived the righteous life, you would get VIP treatment and all the good stuff. But if your track record wasn't great, let's just say you'll have a real...
There's a nice chair and then a spiky chair. Okay.
...really hard time. Now you wait for the Day of Judgment. And here comes the surprise. No one knows when it'll happen.
Okay, so we're watching this because we gotta pick a few doctrines. All right. I noticed I was thinking about the cult today, like I do every day, and we don't have very many doctrines. What do we believe in besides sex and stuff, and and suicide jokes, and the JQ? But besides that, not much.
There are signs though. Things like the rise of the false Messiah and the return of the prophet Isa, aka Jesus, when the day finally comes.
So Muslims believe in Jesus too, but like in a different way. So there's like a lot of people who are like, Jesus is coming back, but everyone disagrees on the vibe he's going to have when he comes back, you know? But it's probably, I mean, we're waiting. It's going to be interesting, I'm sure.
There's a massive roll call. All of humanity is resurrected. And Allah, SWT, judges...
Onia says John just did a reenactment of Woodrow Wilson's presidency. It's a deep cut.
Everyone based on their book of deeds. Everything you did is in there. Even that one time you stole your siblings' fries. The next part is crossing the Asirat Bridge.
You guys remember Woodrow Wilson's presidency, right? Is anybody in here 100 years old? It was probably longer than that. I don't even remember. What president was he? Like, I have no idea. Yeah. No one's gonna... That's, dude, history jokes, man. History jokes. With this crowd's attention span, maybe.
Rich, which is more or less a tightrope stretched over the pit of hell. The righteous
Worst
glide
president
along
ever?
effortlessly.
Okay.
But if you're on the naughty list, gravity isn't your friend, and you'll end up falling straight into the blazing fires of Jahannam. In Jahannam, you'll have to deal with scorching heat, boiling water, and endless regret. It's like being trapped in a nightmarish torture chamber with no escape. If you make it across the bridge, you will enter Jannah, the eternal paradise. Here you will have the time of your life surrounded by cool shades, flowing rivers, endless feasts, and eternal happiness. It's a party with the most divine guest list ever.
Okay, so all these afterlives sound boring. And do you ever notice that, like, when they discuss the afterlife, it sounds so easy. Like, why is it so easy? Wouldn't that be boring for everybody there? Like, everybody shows up in paradise, in the afterlife, in heaven and shit like that. And then just like, what now? Oh, we go to church. We go to church, and then, we have to, like, do what the elders say. And they're still getting their dicks sucked by, like, 14-year-olds and stuff like that. Like, whoa. Whoa. I didn't know heaven was going to be like that. Whose heaven is this? It's the Mormon heaven. But you as a Jehovah's Witnesses were bad, so you didn't get in the Jehovah's Witness heaven. You went to the Mormon heaven. And, yeah, it works like that. It works like that. Everybody's wrong, but in different ways. And so we kind of had to meld the afterlives. So here you are. Why is it always so easy? Can it just have a little bit of a challenge? Is there an advanced, like a hard mode heaven, like God tier heaven, where you you go to heaven, but you're poor, right? Like, you show up in heaven and everyone's like elated and they're in heaven and like, we're so happy you're here and this is heaven. But you're poor, and so people are like mean to you about it, right? You're like, no one else really needs money, right? But they have it. But they're just mean to you for being poor, and it's almost impossible to make money in heaven because there's no jobs. There's no jobs to do. So what are you going to do? Just go around heaven begging for money? For what? For what reason? Be like, I need money in heaven to eat and stuff. They're like, no, everything's free, man. There's like a buffet over there. There's pork, oddly enough. There's a lot of it. It's like all pork. It's weird. All these religions said no pork, and there's like just the first thing you see is pork and shellfish. And it's a good buffet. It's like top tier. Mandalay Bay before the shooting. It's good buffet food. So you don't need money. So what are you going to do? Just get ripped on for being poor for the rest of eternity? Yes. Yeah. Or what if you go to heaven and you're like 4'8", and then, people aren't like, I'm sorry, dude. If you're a 4'8" and a man, that is some severely bad luck. That is some severe, especially if your parents are tall and then you just happen to be like 4'8". That sucks. That sucks. And you're poor in heaven, dude. Are you sure this is your heaven? You were a Mormon, right? Oh no, you were a Muslim. Oh fuck. Yeah. You should have taken a left at purgatory. You ended up in the wrong heaven.
That said, you should probably do your best to live a righteous life. For obvious reasons. Greek mythology. When you died in ancient Greece, your soul was torn from your body and sent straight to the underworld.
Are you guys just talking about the Wilson presidency? Are you seriously? Woodrow Wilson was in a coma and his wife pretended he wasn't and ruled in his place. It's a crazy story. Well, then that's probably the issue, isn't it? Maybe he wasn't a bad president. Maybe his wife was a bad president. And that's why we don't have women presidents. You ever think about that? You ever think that the countries with like female leaders are always like way worse off? Angela Merkel. The New Zealand one. I don't know. There's other ones, I'm sure. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't Woodrow's fault. Maybe he was just in a legit coma. And then she started making a bunch of decisions and be like, this is what he wanted. And then, he's on the other side being like, no, like that Breaking Bad meme when he's in the cop car and he's screaming, no, no, don't do that. That's what the globalists want. Yeah, he was actually a chill guy. But his wife, she didn't know any better.
To meet Hades, the king of the dead, who lived at the edges of the ocean beneath the Earth's deepest layers. Given Hades' reputation, it's no surprise that the
Knobs Dog said, "My phone sucks. Are you buried with it? Are you 6 feet under the ground, and you're like trying to get up in my chat? Because if somebody buries me with my phone, that's what I would do. I wouldn't call my loved ones and be like, please help me. I'm running out of air. I would go into Mersh's chat and I'd be like, yeah, faggots." Right? Because whatever, you know, sometimes you just, you're where you need to be. And you don't need to, you know, claw yourself out of that grave. You just need to kind of embrace it. And you got your phone anyway, so like, what's the difference? Oh no, I'm running out of air.
The underworld wasn't exactly a happy place.
He doesn't have
It was a
T-Mobile.
sunless, endless expanse.
He doesn't have T-Mobile. So apparently T-Mobile has this thing with, what's Elon Musk's thing with the Skynet thing? Let's call it Skynet. They have a deal with Skynet and they get pretty good service. They get pretty decent service.
Where only the dead lived. It was so bad that Achilles, one of Greek mythology's greatest warriors, admitted to Odysseus that he'd rather...
Critical Thought says, I recently stopped by Jekyll Island. Amazing that half the people there had no idea of the treacherous history. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. What? Jekyll Island, and then people are living on Jekyll Island. They're all like, I had no idea that the central bank was set up here. And like the Federal Reserve started on this unholy place. I had no idea. Really? You had no idea? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I just straight up don't believe that.
Struggle as a humble servant among the living.
Knob said, says Starlink. And I said, shut up.
Then rule as a king in the underworld. Yikes. Despite the sad state of the underworld, the ancient Greeks deeply respected the dead. Philosophers like Plato even suggested
all they do is lay around.
That the gods' greatest gift to the deceased was ensuring their memory lived on among the living. Before burial, the body of the deceased was carefully cleaned, clothed, and prepared. A coin was placed in their mouth or in their eyes as payment for Charon, the ferryman tasked with transporting souls across the Styx River. This payment was non-negotiable. Charon didn't work for free. No coin, no crossing. Those who couldn't pay were doomed to wander in limbo, stuck between the worlds of the living and the dead forever.
So I imagine there was a lot of grave robbers. Because if you put a solid gold coin into a dead person's mouth and then bury it and then walk away, I'm going after it. That's like $2,500, dude. That's like, and you're telling me like all these dead people need that, or else they're not going to get across the river Styx or whatever. You know, I'm not going to feel great about grave robbing, but I will feel great with a bag full of gold coins with a fucking dollar sign on it, like Donald Duck, dude. Or not Donald Duck. What's the Scrooge McDuck, the rich one. It would have the sign on it. I would carry it around and it would jingle and shit. And I'd walk past homeless and I'd jingle it. I would jingle, hey, these are my cadaver coins, right? It's like a meme coin, only real.
Ancient Greece, funerals were a big thing. Families buried their loved ones with jewelry, pottery, coins, and just about every other item they thought the spirit might need in the afterlife.
Damn, dude, grave robbing could be lucrative, though. How many graves are out there that like just are loaded with cash? And then you just go dig them up and see, right? They have jewelry. They have like old Nazi gold, old Nazi memorabilia. You just dig some guy up in the middle of Texas and he's head to toe in just a Nazi uniform. And you're like, what the fuck? Werner von what? I'm just saying. Grave robbing is going to be lucrative, and it's going to be a part of the cult, and we're going to have like a grave robbing night where we all go to the graveyard with shovels and stuff with the kids. They'll have a blast, dude. They'll love it. And then we all just go dig up whoever we choose, and you know, you get to keep what you find, and then, you know, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, look at this. It's a ring," and stuff like that. Wow. And then we all go home. Stinking like corpses. But that's okay. That washes off. But not our sins.
But it didn't stop there. Family
Not our
members would return
sins.
to the tombs each year to bring fresh offerings and redecorate. Was it out of love? Sure. But it was also out of fear. In those days, people believed that neglecting the dead could bring back curses or bad luck to the living. After burial, the soul journey to the afterlife would begin. Hermes, the god of travelers, would guide the
Knobs Dog says the thought of waking up in a coffin is terrifying. I can't even do a regular MRI. Pussy.
ghost to the underworld's entrance. From there, Charon would ferry them across the Styx, or the Acheron, aka the
Go
river.
lay in a coffin. Go to a funeral home and just lay in a coffin. And then you tell me, like, you sit there for a second and then scroll on your phone for a little bit and tell me that it's all that bad. Right? They'll be angry with you. If you just go and lay in the coffin, they'll be upset with you. Trust me. They will be upset with you. Because apparently, in certain states, you cannot sell a coffin that somebody has occupied, regardless of their living status or no. It's considered like defilement or something like that. So if you go and lay in a coffin in a certain state, I forget which state, they're not allowed to sell that coffin anymore. So they'll get very angry with you. Might do that too. After we're done with all our grave robbing, just go lay in some coffins. Not the used coffins that have like body goo in it and stuff like that. We dug through all that. We're gonna go to the fresh coffins, the coffin lot, and then just go lay in a few coffins and stuff like that. And I'll try to stuff myself into like a child-sized one just for kicks. I'd be like, "Look at me, I'm a kid," right? We don't dig up the kids. They never have anything.
Of hate and the river of woe. Once inside, the wandering soul.
Critical Thought says, "Come on down to Bob's Used Coffin Depot, where the coffins are gently used coffins." And yeah. Coffins are expensive, dude. They're like $5,000, $5,000 to $15,000 for a coffin. Why are you gonna bury that money? Well, I guess if you're putting like gold coins and like jewelry on somebody, then yeah. I just don't put me in that. Don't put me in a $15,000 coffin. Don't do that. All right. Don't cover me in jewels and don't do any of that. All right. I'm not my body, in my personal belief. I am gone. You might as well be putting a fucking cow in there. Just throw me in the trash or something. Or burn me. That's probably what's going to happen. Jess is going to do her Viking funeral and stuff. Okay. But that's too much too, because then you have to buy a boat. Or you could just make a raft out of logs. I guess. You make it work. But then she'd have to tell people I'm dead, which probably won't happen.
Realized that the underworld was a large divided realm. At the heart of it all was Hades, ruling alongside his
Critical Thought says Carfax for coffins. Carfax, right? This one has water damage. This one, a guy decomposed in.
queen, Persephone,
You're
with help
sick,
from
Thought.
deities like Thanatos, the god of death, Hypnos, the god of sleep, Nyx, the goddess of night, and Hecate, the goddess of magic and witchcraft. The underworld was divided into different zones. Virtuous souls were sent to Elysium, a paradise of eternal peace. The wicked, alongside those who overindulged in earthly pleasure.
Crispy says gathering all the loved ones around for the ceremonial trashing. Yeah, right? And then everyone holds a candle as the trash men come, in their trash truck, because it's like a Tuesday, so it's trash day, and then they see this what do you call it? A vigil. And my legs are just sticking right out of the trash can. All right. But they're nice. They're nice, thick legs. Right. And they're like, this guy worked out. And oh my God, he's heavy. And they just throw me in the trash. And then they compact it. And everyone just stands there and watches with their candle. And then my goo starts shooting out, right? And then they hold up plastic. It's like a Gallagher concert, right? Oh. Oh, you got the goo on you. You're next to die.
We're thrown into Tartarus, a pit of endless
I don't
torment.
make the rules.
And then there were the average souls, who just wandered, forgotten, aimless, and stuck in Hades' domain for all eternity. But not everyone accepted this fate. Take Orpheus, the legendary musician, for example. He used his...
Background noise says trash men are in their formal coveralls. No, they have no idea. They have no idea what's happening. Right? They just roll up on the trash can that's usually not have a body in it. And then today it happens to have a body in it. And, you know, you have to tip them. Because usually if a trash man finds a body in a like a dumpster or something like that, they have to report it. Trust me. Yeah, but you have to like bribe him and be like, yo, keep this. This is like a family thing. And yes, you know, he didn't die of suspicious causes or anything like that. So just squish him good. Squish him good. And he's like, okay, yeah. Right? It's cheaper than a funeral, honestly. They rip you off. When you pay for a funeral, they rip you completely off, dude. So don't do any of that. Just like, you know, just throw me in the trash and then spit on me a few times. Right? And then be like, that's what you did, Joe. I don't know what I did, but whatever. It's cheap. My family will get to keep the money to do whatever they want with. And then I don't give a shit. But do not donate my organs. Those are my organs. I grew them myself. I don't care if they are pristine, which they're not. I'm keeping my organs. Don't give me some sob story about, oh man, this 13-year-old's going to die unless he gets a heart transplant. I'm like, wow, it sounds like he's going to die. There's room in this trash can. It's my heart. That's mine. My liver and my kidneys. Yes, I have two. I'm rich in kidneys. You ain't getting any of them, though. No, they're both mine. I'm not some Filipino. You can't just have my kidneys. I wonder if Frozen still got both of his.
Chanting music to sway even the gods. And when his bride Eurydice passed, he traveled to the underworld to rescue her. Persephone granted him permission to bring Eurydice back to the land of the living, but with one harsh condition. He couldn't turn around and look at her until they were both safely out of the underworld.
Pamunky, yeah, you earned them, keep them. You keep them, right? They're my fucking organs, okay? They try to harvest your organs, like whatever. In some states, you have to tell them, do not harvest my organs if I get like, in a coma or, I'm just like kind of asleep, a really deep sleep or something like that. Because they'll take your organs. Organs are expensive. I spit, sorry. They're expensive. And like, especially like white American organs, dude. I mean, I don't know if they're better than Filipino organs. Maybe they fit better. I don't really know. I'm not an organologist. But if I needed an organ and I had the choice between like a fit 25-year-old that like died in a motorcycle accident or some scummy Filipino with hepatitis, I'm sorry. I'm going for the dead soldier, Give me his organs. See? And I'd pay well, too. And they'd be like, well, he's just asleep. And I'd be like, cut him open. Cut that bitch open. If he signs up for the military, obviously he's trying to serve his country. And what's a better way to serve his country than just open him up and him being a buffet for a bunch of rich people that not like all his good parts and stuff. Everything's not cholesterol ridden and like, cirrhosis from years of drinking and adrenochrome and shit like that. Yep. One day I'm going to have all the organs I want. It's going to be a big, all you can install. I guess. I don't know. How long do organs last? Is there like a mileage? Like, I don't know. I must have put mine through the ringer though. Like when I was younger, I had drinking days, and I was like, I would. My liver is a hero. That's what I'm saying.
Orpheus gave it his best shot, but doubt got the better of him. The moment he turned back, Eurydice vanished. Purgatory, Catholicism.
Eurydice,
Catholics
you
aren't
later.
the only ones who believe in purgatory.
That's what she said. She was all like, and then she went back to hell because the guy, he didn't trust. He didn't have faith. He didn't have faith. He's all like, wait, is this really the bitch I came down here for? And then he turns back, and it was her, but then she vanishes. Bummer. But what if you turn back and it was some like fat chick? Then I'd be like, ugh. Pull my hand away. Ugh. Oh, you're fat. You're supposed to be in hell. Did I say that? Did I just say that? Yes, of course I said that. I meant that.
A good number of other denominations do too, though their views on what it is and what happens there differs slightly.
Critical thought with their medical knowledge comes in. Cirrhosis doesn't usually get a liver transplant, at least if it's alcohol related. So you can do partial liver transplants, and the miracle about the liver is it can regenerate. It is one of the only organs in our body that it can actually regenerate. So if you do have alcohol related cirrhosis of the liver, you stop drinking, and then chances are it'll come back. It'll come back depending on your age, depending on how much punishment you gave to that thing. There's a good chance it'll come back. But if you do get a transplant, you'll get a partial transplant. And then that'll grow into like, you know, a normally functioning liver. So human livers are actually very tough. Human livers are very tough. They've withstood eons of alcoholics. Dude, like the Irish, they're born drunk. That's not even a joke. A lot of them are come out of the womb hammered because their mom was doing like whiskey shots when she was in labor. So yeah, the liver can really handle a good amount of beating. So you know, party on. That's what I'm saying. I'm encouraging you to just absolutely destroy your liver. You need to be able to feel it, right? It needs to be oh shit. No, my meat is fine. It could be fine. I don't know. I don't check on stuff.
Lightly. For the next few minutes,
I don't check on stuff. I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to go to the dentist. My teeth are fine. I don't want to go to the dentist. I don't want to go to the doctor. Because the instant I go to a doctor, he's going to be like, oh, you're riddled with cancer and tumors and stuff like that. I'm like, shut up, nerd. And then I walk out. No, what he's going to try to do, it's going to be like, you're going to die in 6 weeks unless you get on chemotherapy or like radiation or some bullshit like that because you have cancer in your body. And I'm all like, really? How convenient. I just happen to have 6 weeks to live when I come in for a checkup and you're like, oh, you got like very aggressive stage 4 cancer. Okay, well, pass. Pass. I'm going to go ahead and not do that. All right? I'm not here for your upcharges. And that's exactly what that is. Cancer treatment is an upcharge. They're just trying to sell you on more of their services. No, I don't think I will. I think I'll be just fine. I'll walk out of this hospital, probably go straight to the bar, and then I'll drink, and then that will push the cancer out of my body. That is a fact. That is a fact. I'm a doctor too.
So we will be siding with the Catholics. The Catholic purgatory is an interesting concept, to say the least. Congratulations, you're saved.
Knobs Dog says you should go to the dentist. As we age, it's necessary. Shut up.
Then you die.
Shut up.
And learn you're not ready for heaven just
Why would I do that? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. People had bad teeth. You know, my teeth are fine. Like no cavities. Like ever. So it's like, they're fine. I don't want to. And I don't have, if it starts to hurt, then I'll think about it. But until then, no. I'm not going to go in. Women go to the doctor. Women go to the doctor regularly. I have no idea why. Do you know how cantankerous women are? They need to go to the doctor for all types of things. They got a bunch of like tubes and plumbing and like, acidity levels and stuff going on. And so they need to go to the doctor because they need to, it's like, oh, mine's in the shop. And then I have another one. I have another one, right? It's a loner. She's a little beaten up, right? She's a little beaten up, but you got to get around somehow.
Yet, instead, you find yourself in purgatory, a cosmic waiting room where your soul gets purified. According to the church, even if your sins have been forgiven, your soul still needs to be purified from the lingering...
Couch Surfing says, I don't go to the doctor. Yeah, but you go to the chiropractor. And you go to the chiropractor pretty often for adjustments and stuff like that. Which, I mean, like, you do you. I mean, she had me go to the chiropractor to do adjustments and stuff. And then she, like, moved my and stuff, and I could tell she was struggling because I'm very, I know I say it all the time, but I'm extremely muscular. So she was really having trouble like moving my limbs, right? And she's like thin, and she's like a 26-year-old 100-pound doc. She's a sweetheart. Don't get me wrong. But, like, she was, like, trying to pull on me and shit. I'm all like, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. She got a few pops out of me. And I was all like, nah, I'm not coming back. I don't like being touched. I don't like being touched. It's weird. Like, it's just, stop touching me. I don't like going for massages. I don't like that. Not a fan of that. Oh, you're going to like rub me up and down? Hey, no, I won't do that. And then I just won't do that. That's weird. I don't know you like that. And, no. I'm surprised I haven't pulled more muscles in my life because I do not stretch. And I lift extremely heavy things. Without warm-up. Without even an ounce of warm-up. I'm just going to go lift that in some jerking, twisting motion. And I've been good. I've been good so far. I mean, check out the vascularity. It's pretty good. I'm just saying. Not even the strongest chiropractor can crack my back. That's how tough I am.
Stains left by unhealthy attachments to the things of the flesh. The doctrine of purgatory is an important theme in Catholic theology because it comes up pretty often. While Catholics do believe in heaven and hell, the church...
Hog Dog says 25,000 in overtime fucked me out of my Medicaid this year. Yeah. What? You made $25K in overtime? That's pretty awesome. But then they're all like, you can't have Medicaid because of that? That's so gay, dude. But I mean, I guess if you were to pay for health insurance, it would be like, because what do you pay for like $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month? I know that's a lot of money, but you made $25K in overtime.
Church teaches about something called venial sins. These are the smaller sins that don't cut you off from God entirely.
Knobsock says, how old is Bahama John? And then Couch Turfing blows up my spot and says 37. Yeah, I'm 37. And I look a lot better than some motherfuckers out there. I've seen some people that are like 10 years younger, sometimes 15 years younger than me, and they look like shit, dude. They look like bad off. And I'm like, how do you look like this? How are you so bald at the age of 26, dude? What is wrong with you? Why are you so fat? Like, I don't know. Maybe I have excellent genetics. Me and Jess both. She's got great genes too. We're going to have like really good looking kids. We already have them. They're here. And honestly, they're beautiful. Somebody told us today, you have beautiful boys. And I was like, thank you. We get that a lot. I'm just bragging.
But they come with temporal punishment.
I'm just bragging on my genetic perfection. So fucking deal with it.
That you'll have to deal with in purgatory if you don't sort things out here. Thankfully, you're not alone in this. The living can actually help speed things along for the souls stuck in purgatory. Catholics believe in something.
Hot dogs at $6K a year, $453 a month for health insurance? That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
Called the Communion of Saints, which basically means...
How old are you, Pamunky? She says you're young. And 37, I mean, that's middle-aged. I'm a middle-aged man. I'm a middle-aged man with like a wife and kids and like the whole nine. So, how old are you? How's 37 young? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not 60. I don't know if I'll make it to 60. I don't know if any of us are going to make it to 60, dude. It's going to get weird. In the next few years, like, by the time 2030 rolls around, the society is going to be a strange place. Technology is advancing so quickly. Every other day, there's a new AI model that's like 1,000 times better than the one that came out last week. And it's like, everything is going to change a lot very quickly. We're not going to even realize how in the dark ages we are. You know how when you grew up without internet, or at least some of you did, and now we do have internet. And have you ever like lost power or like lost your internet, and then you just don't know what to do with yourself? Even though you had several years at the beginning of your life where you had no internet. You had no internet. And you were fine. Every day you were fine having no internet. And now we have lots of internet and it's everywhere. And when it goes away, we're like, where's all the... And then we just stand there. Just, where's the internet? Where'd it go? It's sad. It's real sad. But, I mean, like, why can't we remember when we didn't have internet and be like, oh, shit, sweet. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go, like, look for a cool stick or something like that. Because that seems retarded to do now. I want to have that back. I want to go find like a cool stick and like find a dead body and like poke it. Jess did that today. She did that today. She found a stick, found a dead body and poked it. I am not even kidding you. It was a jellyfish. So calm down. It was a jellyfish's body. I should have clarified that. But yeah, we were out next to the intercoastal and there was a jellyfish. Washed up, sadly passed away. And so Jess did what a normal, natural Florida girl would do and found a stick and she poked it. And then just poked it a couple of times. And then I was like, yeah, nod of approval. Because good. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do as a person. You're not supposed to be fucking sitting on your phone fucking like this. What if I just did the stream like this? The whole fucking stream. And then this was my face. And I'm like, oh, lame. Oh, Epstein list? Who gives a fuck about that? Oh, that one girl from fucking Eurotrip died. That's sad. Oh, Gene Hackman? No. Oh well. No. Rip Michelle Trachtenberg and Gene Hackman. I didn't hear about the Epstein list thing until fucking Ardenshire said it in the chat, and I was all like, "Oh, they dropped the list." I didn't hear anything about that. I haven't been on X today. I've been busy. We were going on bike rides, and yeah, that's it. We were just riding bikes around town. Fuck you. I get to do what I want. Yeah, yes, I skipped work, and I was like, I'm gonna go hang out with my family and ride bikes around town, and I had a good time. I'm a little tired from it because I went, but that's what I do. I choose to do what I do because I don't know. Do I really need a reason? Sometimes I just want to poke a dead body with a stick. Okay? Okay? Is that okay with you? Good.
Good energy from the living and the saints in heaven can help purify souls faster. Think of it like...
Wait. Hold on. I know... What was the deal with the Epstein list? Can somebody tell me why the Epstein list was disappointing and why it didn't explode the world? Was it just completely redacted like everyone thought it was going to be? It was, wasn't it? Shocking.
Getting extra credit on a group project. I would play nice with my loved ones if I were you. Catholics think of time in purgatory as a necessary transformation, rather than punishment for punishment's sake. The theologian...
Hugdog says I got a 29er rock hopper to dick around on. Oh, a hardtail. No one knows what you're talking about. I know you're talking about a bike. We have e-bikes. In my town, everybody has e-bikes. There's like 3 e-bike shops, and it's a small town. It's just the way the bike laws, the e-bike laws in Florida work out, and like the way the town is set up, because there's nowhere in town you can go more than 35 miles an hour. So you can ride your bike on any road, on any path, in any place in town, and it costs nothing to get everywhere in town. So you'd be stupid not to have an e-bike. And there's bike paths literally everywhere. To the beach, to the restaurants, to the shopping centers, to the bars. Everything is bike accessible. So it's just like we have our bikes. Maybe you guys remember this. I bought her a bike for Christmas. And then we hop on our bikes and then we just go fucking dick around. And that's what we do. And then that's our day. And it's a lot of fun. We get sunshine. We go to the beach. We play in the sand. Right? Play in the sand. I do my weekend at Bernie's. Right? And then she talks about the Jews and stuff like that. I'm like, that's not my opinion. That's her. That's not me. That's not me, okay? It's her. But tell them about the Federal Reserve and stuff. No, we have a good time though.
Joseph Ratzinger, who would go on to become Pope Benedict XVI, described it as a process where one becomes capable of God. If you think this all sounds abstract, you're probably right. But there's more. Some saints and mystics, like Saint Catherine of Genoa, describe purgatory as a place of profound longing. Souls there apparently want to undergo...
Ardenshire says, also, I have a bike. The tire is flat. Fucking goat heads. I know what you're talking about. Those things suck, dude. They're like thorn seeds thing, and you're from California. That's right. So okay, because I don't think they're here in Florida, but yeah, in California they're big old thorny pieces of shit.
Purification because they're so desperate to be with God. It's pain, but with a purpose. Rebirth. Buddhism. The first thing you should know about rebirth is that after you die, you might wake up as an animal or a ghost. Hold on, let me explain. The Buddhist afterlife isn't a straightforward heaven or hell situation. Instead, when you die, you get looped into an endless cycle of suffering.
Knobsdog says, at Ardenshire, I ride tubeless. Which I imagine you mean you fuck without a condom? Is that what you're trying to say? That's risky, but I understand why you would do that.
Satisfaction and pain. Your only ticket out
takes away all the feeling.
Reaching a state called nirvana, where you no longer have...
It's not even fun. It's like, why am I even doing this?
Cravings or wants, and so can no longer suffer. When you die, you don't just disappear. You just get reborn into one of 6 realms, and the criteria for where you go is karma. If you've been good, congratulations. You might find yourself in the human realm, or even chilling with the gods.
Hog Dog says, I broke my chain and concussed myself one ride. Dude, I have ridden a bike like so drunk. Like so many times. Like, and I think that's illegal. It should be illegal. But I can tell you sometimes I've ridden a bike, like a bicycle, where I was just like, I wasn't okay to walk. You know, I was not okay to walk. Why am I riding a bike? I shouldn't even be walking the bike. But it's still fun. And it's dark too, so that means it's always going to be good.
But if you rack...
I remember one time I crashed it and I like tacoed the front wheel. And I had my buddy riding on the handlebars. We were both smashed. And we were just riding down the road. And then I hit a pothole or something like that. It just... Good times. Good times. It's very dangerous to do, though. So I don't recommend that to anybody. Unless you want to have a good time.
Racked up bad karma in your lifetime, you could end up as...
Knobstock says you can get a DUI on a bike. Yeah, if the cop's a fucking square. What? How much of a dick cop do you have to be to write somebody a DUI on a bike? You know how bad that can fuck up someone's life? And they're just trying to get home. They're on a bicycle, for God's sakes. If it's a motorcycle, that's a different story. Kind of, right? But on a bike, the only person you're going to hurt is yourself. Unless, you know, you're a Muslim and there's a Christmas market and you're just blasting for it. There's no way you're going to do anything besides fuck yourself up, right? You're going to break your own arm or something like that. And that's punishment enough. It's so it's just another way to extract money and screw people over. He's on a bike, for God's sakes. He's on a bike. There is a million boomers in this town who all have golf carts, who get shit house drunk and drive their golf carts around during the day. And I know they do. And the cops know they do, right? The cops don't do anything. They don't pull them over or anything like that because they know they're like multimillionaires and they bring a lot of money to the town. And it's like, you know, I kind of get that. I've not heard of anybody getting busted for a DUI on a bike in this town, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Our friend was in a golf cart and like her kids were in the golf cart and they weren't buckled in and she got a $500 ticket because her kids weren't buckled in to a fucking golf cart. Are you kidding me? Why you gotta be such a gay cop? Why you gotta be such a gay cop? First of all, we're locals, and only like a third of the town lives here year-round, right? This is a snowbird town. So a bunch of New Yorkers come here during the winter, and then, you know, it's so cold. They're annoying as fucking. I hate them. But they do have a lot of money. They bring a lot of money into the town, so I'm not going to complain. No, I will complain. Fuck them. What was I saying? Fuck New Yorkers.
The hungry ghost, or worse.
I fucking hate
hell
them.
realm. And that's not all. In some Buddhist traditions, for example, Tibetan Buddhism, there's some sort of middle zone between death and rebirth called Bardo. In Bardo, your consciousness is sort of suspended for up to 49 days, trying to figure out its next move. While a handful of Buddhist traditions accepted this belief, the others weren't buying it. Oh,
despite what we've heard, says because people driving golf carts on surface streets are dicks. Yeah, dude, you gotta. I mean, maybe you've been to New Smyrna. Have you been to New Smyrna? I know you live on the other side, but here everything is kind of like it doesn't matter. People ride their bikes on the streets. It doesn't matter. Like everything is like it's one of those old timey. This is an old town. New Smyrna might be one of the oldest towns. I think it is like the oldest town in America next to St. Augustine. Here's the thing. Back when the Spanish settled in Florida and established the first town in America, they came to New Smyrna first, right? But something happened. God, what was I forget the name of the Spanish people, but they're a certain type of Spanish people. But they built canals, right? They built a bunch of canals, and they built big stone buildings and stuff like that. This was back in like the 1600s, like the early 1600s, or yeah. And they built a bunch of canals and did all that, but something happened. And so the Basques, that's what they're called. The Basques got up and then moved to St. Augustine, which is about an hour north of us, and settled there. And then they became the oldest settlement in the United States, which is like, but they were here first. There's clearly evidence of them being here first. There's old stone buildings and this canal network that they use for sugarcane farming and stuff like. I have a canal in my backyard. It's over 300 years old. It's just there. No, it doesn't do anything now. But something happened. Another weird thing about New Smyrna is it's on a ley line. And that's interesting because even though this is a small, kind of sleepy hamlet, kind of a town, there is an enormous stonemasons. There's an enormous Freemason building in town, right in the center of town. And it has no windows and is a big white obelisk kind of a building. And we think there's something under it. It's just very suspicious that is such a thing. And I know the stonemasons, the Freemasons, they like to build their temples on ley lines. And just so happens that we are on a ley line, and there's your Freemason building. I don't know what's inside of it. I have no plans on becoming a Freemason. And Jess was like, you should become a Freemason so you can go in there and then tell me what's inside there and like what they do and stuff like that. And I'm like, you stupid bitch. They would make me swear an oath, and I couldn't break that. I could not do that. Even if what they were doing in there was like wild. I'd be like, they made me swear I can't do that. I can't do that. So I can't become a stonemason. Because my wife would constantly be like, what'd you do with the stonemasons and stuff like that? I'd be like, I can't talk about that. Okay? And I have like the rings. The rings and stuff. I come home and I take off my hooded cloak. And then I start taking my rings off. There's a lot of them. What'd you do with the stone? I'm like, shut up. That's so weird. That's such a weird thing. I knew a Freemason one time. He used to cut my hair. He was a cool guy. He had like the tattoos and stuff and like the stickers on his car. And he was really into Freemasonry. He was really into it. And that's like, was his thing. And, he didn't seem like a weirdo. He just seemed like a normal guy. It just seems like a place where he went and drank or something like that. I don't think most Freemasons are in the Illuminati and shit like that. But I think when you get higher up in the ranks, then you start dealing with some nefarious shit. I think that's what's going on.
And by the way, Bardo isn't the only thing the different Buddhist traditions can't seem to agree on. Each sect...
Arden Shire says Freemasons are homosexuals. They didn't build shit. Okay. You're going to have to... Can you cite your sources? I'm not saying you're wrong. Honestly, it sounds pretty believable. But, you got to show me something that says Freemasons are all homosexuals. He did cut my hair, and he did a good job. He made me look good. And, I miss him for that because he was talented. So was he a homosexual? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. I met his wife. She seemed nice too. And his kids. So I don't think he was a homosexual. But maybe.
Has a varying opinion on what's actually being reborn during the rebirth process. Some believe that it's your vijnana, or
Couchsurfing says him and his wife were so cool. They were some of the dopest people in California. Yeah, they were really nice people.
consciousness that flows like a stream from life to life, while others argue that nothing physical or conscious carries over, only the consequences of your actions. Either way, next time you're tempted to skip a meditation session, you should think about this and maybe get in some good deeds before it's too late. Tier 2. Egypt.
Scott says worshippers of Set. And if I remember who Set is an Egyptian god of death? Is that who Set is? And then Ra is the sun. The dog-faced one is Set. And he's like the god of the underworld. Why would they worship him? Why? I don't know. I shouldn't ask why people worship certain things. It just doesn't make sense. You know, they're not going to give me a satisfactory answer. Like, if people are like, why do you worship Jesus? I'd be like, there's like a lot, you know, that's a very personal question. And I don't like personal questions. I don't like them. I don't like personal questions. I don't like when people say, so what kind of music do you listen to? I'm like, fuck you, man. I just met you. You want to know what kind of music I listen to? Get out of here. How about that? How about fuck you? With Rome. No, I'm not going to answer that question.
Egyptian beliefs. The Egyptians believed that in the afterlife, their spirits had to survive a dangerous underworld journey, face trial with 43 divine judges, and pass the ultimate hard.
Pamunky says, I think the dog is Anubis. You could be right. I'm not hip on my Egyptian theology, you know? So maybe you're right.
Weighing test to earn a spot in paradise. Living Egyptians didn't wait until death to get ready for the afterlife.
Scott just says, hi, John, and then flips me off.
They knew it was going to be a bureaucratic nightmare and wanted to be prepared. First up, shopping. Funerary essentials like protective charms, doll-like statuettes called shabtis, and custom...
Arden Shara says it's complicated, but their gods translate to Lucifer. Ra is Lucifer in Egyptian lore. It's complicated but real. Okay, no, I understand. It sound, you know... I feel like a lot of theologies have different names for the same entities, the same beings, that maybe there was some sort of conflict in the past, or there's names like Baal and Set and Lucifer and Asmodon, and there's a lot of different names for like a singular idea of like Satan, but the same goes for God, right? There's Jehovah, there's Yahweh, there's I'm sure there's other ones. Interesting little factoid is we might not know the proper Christian biblical name for God. There was this idea back in the Dizay that any use of God's real name was in vain, because a human could not use the name of God without it being used in vanity. So they intentionally misspelt his name in all Bibles, in all religious works, just so God's name could never be used in vain. So today, we have no idea what the proper biblical name for God is. That is, I don't even know if that's a factoid. That's just something I heard.
Some copies of the Book of the Dead were must-haves. If you were rolling in wealth, you could splurge on jewel-covered copies.
Oh, that's the bell. What do you have for us, Belly? Social Observer, $10. Big spender tonight. Thank you. This is John's favorite song. Oh, it's going to be gay, isn't it? What do we have? Oh, Dirty Heads. I like Dirty Heads. We can vibe on this for a second.
Picture this, drunk as shit, on a pirate ship in some shackles and a brig with a couple cracked ribs, thinking, son of a bitch, how'd I get in a sitch? Oh yeah,
I've actually haven't heard this song.
Yeah, I'd make a deal to never really reveal the X marks the spot, but fuck what they thought. I am what they're not. I take the whole pot.
I would go and see Dirty Heads live. That'd be sick, actually. We saw Streetlight Manifesto. Have we seen them twice? Streetlight Manifesto? Just love Streetlight Manifesto. It's a banger. I like the Dirty Heads. Stuck on our island, skeletons are all that I know. Send how my time will end. I'm just gonna let this ride though. Ah! So may you tell me what the hell you think you're doing here? Honey, we gotta see Dirty Heads. We gotta see Dirty Heads. Next time they come to Orlando, let's go see Dirty Heads because I like them. I like the Dirty Heads. That's old school, man. It's like I remember I was listening to like Slightly Stupid a lot during then too. I like Dirty Heads better than Slightly Stupid. It was just a phase, you know. It was like a time in my life, and you know we were smoking a lot of weed and just like kind of chilling out and shit. And it's just like, you know, it was yeah. Anyways, what are we talking about? Oh yeah.
Coffins and private tombs. Now about those shop teas.
So hold on. Scott said. They also say when you say amen, you actually are praising Amen. I do believe how it goes. I'd have to look that. Who's Amen? Who's Amen? Should I not say? I pray before dinner. Like we pray around meals because we're not fucking heathens. And you know, should I not say amen? Am I doing that wrong? We don't even go to church. I mean, we've been looking for a church. It's just like, we haven't like, you know, but am I doing that wrong? Should I not be doing that?
They were creepy little figurines that came to life in the afterlife to do all your hard labor while you relaxed, possibly sipping paradise cocktails. When you die, your spirit would have to navigate a terrifying...
Can you get drunk in heaven? Do you need to get drunk in heaven? Can you get high? Is there like a lot of cocaine in heaven? Is it just a big Studio 54 where everyone's fucking?
Underworld
That's weird.
filled with monstrous gatekeepers.
I doubt it. I doubt it very heavily. I doubt heaven is like that at all.
Mean gods. This is where having a Book of the Dead pays off. It's essentially a cheat sheet for past...
The monkey says amen translates to let it be. You're good, John. Okay. Okay. I believe you. This is the... I've never looked into the etymology of the word amen, but I guess I should.
Passwords and spells to help you make it out in one piece. The goal is to reach Osiris, the god of the underworld, for your final judgment. But first, you had to...
Social observance is Ra, Amen, and Yahweh are all Anunnaki. So, Anunnaki were the... Okay. Now, let me get my Graham Hancock out. And not my real Hancock, my Graham Hancock. So, the Nephilim fucked human women and gave birth to the Anunnaki, or did the Anunnaki fuck human women and gave birth to the Nephilim? I think that's how it went, right? And then the Nephilim were like half god creatures and they were giants and stuff. Is that how it went? Pretty sure that's how it went. Anunnaki. Watch the Y-Files. He's got all types of good stuff on like the Anunnaki and like Seraphim and Nephilim shit and stuff like that. Pretty good. Social Observer, you're blowing it up tonight, man. He's like the one. You're the one. Somebody give him extra cult points because he's giving me like $40 now. Thank you so much, dude. He says your next deep dive should be on Thoth and the Emerald Tablet. Oh, that is such a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. So the Thoth and the Emerald Tablets. If I want to give you a rundown, there's the Akashic records, and which is the realm of infinite knowledge, of knowledge itself. It's some sort of background field that certain entities can access, right? And Thoth was one of these entities, and it's supposedly Thoth was actually an Atlantean. But that's a theory, right? But he wrote down these Akashic records on emerald tablets, and apparently it has like the key to everlasting life and how you can manipulate reality with your mind and how to like lift stones with sound and stuff like that. And apparently these emerald tablets are hidden in a chamber underneath the paws of the Sphinx. And they've ran ground penetrating sonar over that. And there is a chamber about 40 feet down underneath the paws of the Sphinx, which is weird because they will not let anybody excavate it. There's very clearly a chamber. There must be something in there. They can see it on the sonar. The Egyptian government will allow nobody to dig. But that's not the only weird thing about the Sphinx. The Sphinx might be much older than they say. I think what they say it's like 8,000 years old, which is pretty old. But there's actually erosion patterns on that Sphinx that don't quite match up with that. Right? There's erosion patterns from long ago that would have to be Egypt's in a desert, right? But those erosion patterns show that it would have to have rained a lot. So if you match that up with like the desertification of Africa, because the deserts move, they're bands that move, that Sphinx could be 30 or 40,000 years old. And that is another theory. 30 or 40,000 years old, though? That means that people were building shit way back. That's a very good recommendation. And if I find something that, there's so much out there on that. I already know quite a bit about it. I'll look into that. The Y files will have something absolutely about that.
Plead your case. Now for the judgment part. Your heart, ever the telltale.
Ardent Shire says also correlates with Göbekli Tepe, which is another very interesting one that I know less about, but that's also another interesting one. Let's see if I can remember. That's the one with like the melted stones and stuff, right? And they're all melted together, and it's like, how did they do that with stones? I don't think it was concrete or anything. It was just stones, and anyways, yeah, I could look into that. But this also plays into ley lines. Right? Like the pyramids and like Teotihuacan and like the Göbekli Tepe and all these ancient sites, oftentimes that had pyramids, they line up on this grid pattern on the planet, and those are supposedly ley lines. So the theory goes that these pyramids, which were not used for burials, because burials they're decorated. Burial chambers are decorated. The pyramids in Egypt, the walls are bare. There's nothing on the walls. There's just a big stone casket, supposedly, in the middle of it that they said this is where a mummy probably lived or died or was dead. But it's too small for that. And there's nothing on the walls referring to that. When you go into a tomb, like King Tut's tomb, Murals all over the place, chariots, gold everywhere. Even if it had been robbed, there would still be murals, words on the walls and stuff. So the idea is that these pyramids on these ley lines were a method of extracting energy from the ether, like a 0-point energy kind of thing. And that's why you had all these pyramids in these specific points around the earth, because at one point there was a more advanced civilization or a smarter civilization that was able to extract energy from the 0 point, from the vacuum of the vacuum. Which is interesting, because what happened to them? Some sort of biblical flood, perhaps? Could be.
Organ would be weighed against the feather of Mot, the goddess of truth and justice. If your heart was heavier because of all the bad stuff you did, things wouldn't end well. Ammit, the devourer, would eat your heart, and your soul would be sent into eternal darkness. If the scales balanced, you'd head straight into paradise, also known as the Field of Rushes, a place of endless crops, sunny skies, and blue rivers, where you could farm for eternity. Or let your trusty Shabtis handle the hard work.
Where you can farm for eternity?
In Hinduism, after you say your final goodbye to the world,
Here it is.
you'll find...
There's the bell again. Social Observer. Setting it on fire. $5 this time, though. Oh shit, Romania is the Garden of Eden, but it is actually an alien lab where Enki and Enlil were tinkering with genetics, and they invented gypsies. Goddamn gypsies. How did the gypsies get played? Okay, so Enki and Enlil were like they were Anunnaki, right? And they play with genetics, and somehow I remember hearing something about Enki and Enlil, right? And it's from watching the Y-Files. I watched a lot of that. But they didn't invent gypsies. No, come on. No. Why would you intentionally invent gypsies? Why would you be like, I've done it? A thief. No, you don't want to do that. No one wants that. No one wants to make Romanians. They're just a byproduct. Like how when you like process kerosene, then you get gasoline, only far less useful.
Find yourself in the celestial courtroom of Yama, the god of death. And he won't be alone. Chitragupta, his trusty accountant, will be there with the ultimate receipt book, detailing every single deed you've done, good or bad.
Accountants, huh? Some guy has to be an accountant in the afterlife. That sucks. So you're just counting souls.
Oh, and Varuna, the universal spy master, will also be present. Just to remind you that someone was watching you the whole...
Oh, and by the way, the Garden of Eden, here's another theory for you. That the Garden of Eden is actually in Florida, which would make a lot of sense. God, where's Obedient to Yah? He can like rattle off some shit about this. So the theory is that the Garden of Eden was actually in Florida, and the fruit of forbidden knowledge was actually an orange. But it kind of makes sense that it would be in Florida. Like they talk about how like the Arab desert was the Fertile Crescent, which, okay, but it's not really shaped like a crescent, and it's a fucking desert. But Florida, that is shaped like a crescent and is covered with trees, and it, obviously it's a beautiful place, right? And the springs and stuff like that, it's gorgeous. I would rather Eden be in Florida than in Saudi Arabia, you know, or Mesopotamia or whatever, or anything like that. I know it's not all desert, but I'm just saying. But the Mormons actually think the Garden of Eden is in like Georgia or something like that, which is actually not too far away. So, but these are theories. These are theories.
At some point,
Social.
they will whip out a mirror. Not just any mirror, but one that replays every cringe
There we
moment of
go.
your
There
life.
we go. Social Observer with another $5. Lovely. They unintentionally invented gypsies because they needed a race of people that would confuse the truth seekers that would find the alien lab in the Romanian mountain. What? So you're telling me they infested the planet with gypsies as some sort of red herring to throw people off the trail? So, okay. All right. So Enki and Enlil made the Caucasian race. Made the Caucasian race. And they didn't want anybody to find the lab where they made the good people. So they're all like, let's pump out some fucking gypsies just to muddy the waters a little bit. Is that what you're saying? Okay, I believe you. Why not? Gypsies.
Remember that time
Gypsies.
you cut in line or ghosted
Filthy
someone?
gypsies.
Yep, that's on replay. Based on this Celestial performance review,
Scott says Coral Castle is also a very interesting topic. So the guy who built Coral Castle, which is down in Miami, if you guys don't know the story of Coral Castle, that's a really good one. Coral Castle is a place down in Miami where a singular man, like a small man, right? Not a very big man, but a single guy was able to lift huge coral blocks, enormous, several 1,000-pound coral blocks, so intricately and so easily that he made these structures just in the middle in his property, right? And he would only do it at night. And he made like a door that was thousands of pounds, but it was so well balanced you can push it open with a finger, right? And it like spins and stuff. It's a huge coral block. And then nobody knew how he was doing it. But one night, some teenagers peeked over the fence at this coral castle, and they said they saw him levitating these large stones and moving them back and forth. Apparently, the backstory on this guy, I forget his name, was that he was a Freemason, and of the highest, like level 33, the highest level Freemason. And they taught him through the emerald tablets the secret of levitation that they used to build these old, like the pyramids and Teotihuacan and Göbekli Tepe and stuff like that. And he had this knowledge and he used it to build Coral Castle down in Miami in like, I don't know, the 20s or something like that. It's there. And it's a very well documented story about how this one guy somehow managed to lift with no help from anybody. And he was like in the middle of town. If anybody was like shipping these things in or like helping him, they would have clearly seen. But he was just able to, by himself, using radio waves and some sort of sonic thing, move these large blocks of stone. So yeah, in Florida, a lot of weird shit happens in Florida, actually. There's a lot of lore that's in Florida. And why? I'm not exactly sure. But an interesting thing that Egypt and Florida have in common is there's large limestone caverns underneath the land here. And when the tide goes in and out of those large limestone caverns, apparently it creates some sort of energy that can be extracted somehow, which is another theory. These are all theories, obviously, because I can't prove any of them.
you'll either be sent up to Svarga, Hindu heaven, for
Social
some
Observer says he was like 4'10". Yeah, apparently he was very small.
R&R, or down to Naraka, Hindu hell, to be punished. Svarga
Dick Rickham says he probably hired Mexicans to do it at night. Mexicans weren't invented until like the 70s, dude.
isn't forever. It's more like an all-expense-paid vacation with an expiration date.
He was
You'll
using
hang out with
Scientology
divine
knobs.
beings, enjoy heavenly pleasures, and basically live your best life until your good karma runs out. Naraka, on the other hand, is like an escape room from hell. Literally. The punishments are custom-tailored to your sins. But lucky
Brandon said the kid said he was holding in each hand something that looked like ice cream cones to levitate the stones. So as I remember hearing, he was very into like radio, and he knew a lot about radio and radio frequencies, and he had a bunch of radio equipment on the property, and like speakers and like transformers and things to power his radio equipment. And apparently that was the secret of I'll do an episode on it. I'll do an episode and we'll see what we can find out. It was something weird like that. But it's just the strangest story, because there was like lots of witnesses that were just like, we don't know how he fucking does it. And he's just like in there, and then he just does it. And then people come in the next day and they're like, how the fuck did you move this thing? There's no cranes here. There was no cranes here last night. How did you do this? Several 1,000-pound blocks of like this coral, this sandstone coral that he could just move across the property without even making a peep.
For you, it's not eternal. Once you've paid your dues, you're free to move on. When your stint in either place is up, it's reincarnation time. Your Atman, or consciousness, moves on to its next life. Depending on your karma, and even your final thoughts at the moment of death, you could come back as anything. A human, a god, an animal.
What would you think if your final thought determined your next life, what would you be thinking? Because I know I'd be like, don't think of anything bad. Don't think of anything bad. Don't think of anything bad. And then I would just end up being something bad. I don't even know what that would be, but it would be something bad. Like Oprah's tampon or something like that. I'm like, this is not a life. This is not a life. This isn't what I wanted. Why did I automatically think of the worst thing I could think of? Because I was trying not to think of the worst thing I could think of. That's what happened. And then it just got stuck in my head. And then I'm neurotic, so it just kept there and it just recycled, right? I should have been thinking about like my loved ones and like my favorite pastimes, or like hanging out on the beach. But I'm like, no. I want to be like fucking oh Jesus. Oh my God. Like Ellen DeGeneres' fucking panties or something like that. Just all gooey. I choose not to believe that. I choose not to believe that. Right? I don't want to come back as Ellen DeGeneres' fucking shitted up underwear. Okay? I don't want that. I don't want that. Can we go back to talking about like Thoth and like magic and stuff, and like somehow they're like drawing energy from the earth itself? Now I'm thinking about Oprah's tampons and Ellen DeGeneres' panties.
Or if
and
you're
I'm all
really
bricked up over here. I'm
unlucky,
bricked up.
A hungry ghost known as a preta. That's right. Whatever is on your mind at the moment of death could decide whether you're reborn as a prince or a pigeon.
Social Observer says levitation technology built Tartaria. I've heard a lot about Tartaria, whatever. And people say these old buildings and stuff, they're Tartarian, from old Tartarian cities and stuff like that. Are they? Or are they just fucking buildings? Right? I don't think if we dig down, there's just going to be like more of it, and it's going to just keep going down and stuff. I don't know if I believe all that Tartarian stuff, but I honestly haven't looked very deeply in it. It just seems unbelievable to me. And I believe a lot of unbelievable shit. I mean, I will go down a rabbit hole, and I will hyper focus on like crazy stuff. The Tartarian stuff, it didn't do it for me. It didn't click any of my boxes. But maybe if you want to change that, hit me on X. Drop a link in the comments here. All of you do that, right? Help the algorithm a little bit.
Pressure though, just chant those mantras like your afterlife depends on it, because it does. Speaking of hungry ghosts, let's dive into Preta territory.
Hungry ghosts?
Pretas are unlikely souls trapped on Earth and cursed with an insatiable hunger and thirst. They are typically the souls of people who were corrupt, compulsive, deceitful, jealous, or greedy while alive. They're often depicted as human.
Okay. All right. I think I'm safe.
Human-like figures with sunken skin, long, thin necks, and big bellies. Get it?
Big bellies.
Because they're always hungry. So maybe that one fell.
Oh, no.
Pretas can only be freed through specific rituals, which often involve offerings, prayers, and priests chanting ancient verses. But that's a whole different story. If at any point you're tired of the whole reincarnation loop, there's one ultimate goal: moksha. Think of it as cosmic retirement.
I like how it just flashed up as a screen. Okay. Anyways, we're out of time. Well, that's all the time we have. That's all the time we have, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. Thanks for joining us. Social Observer, thanks for like $50, dude. I really appreciate that. Really, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you guys stay strong, stay faithful. I'm gonna look into those things. Maybe tomorrow night we'll do a little bit. We'll go down that direction of the mystic kind of stuff, because I really do enjoy that stuff, and I know quite a bit about it, oddly enough. Anyways, you guys get out there, make the best of yourselves, make me proud, make the cult proud, right? Make the cult proud, because that's what you're here. You're a representative of the cult. So hit the gym, make yourself look good. And then talk about the Sulk stream, because that's very important. That's very, very important. So until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And stay strong, and stay beautiful, and stay valiant. And get a good night's sleep. Drink lots of water. And take care of yourselves, because I care about you too. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul, unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's just growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster too. Government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth. To their control, I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, born like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.